Thank you.
Well, it's been a bad week for company news in Australia. BHP announced it was shelving expansion plans for its Olympic Dam mine, which was expected to create thousands of jobs. Qantas announced its first annual loss since it was privatised 17 years ago. Fairfax posted a massive $2.7 billion loss. And QR National announced it's axing 900 jobs as part of a company restructure.
So, is our economy in trouble? Let's get some reaction now from our big guns of politics. Environment Minister Tony Burke and Shadow Treasurer Joe Hockey. Morning to both of you. Tony, morning. I'll begin with you and BHP. So, government's been contradicting itself over the mining boom in the wake of its decision. You've got one minister saying it's over, another one saying it's got a way to go. Which is it?
There's two different concepts here, Mel. The first is there has been a boom in demand for resources. The second is there's been a boom in prices. Now what's happening now, the long-term demand for resources, that's continuing. But the really high prices that we've been getting over the last few years, basically since about September of last year, they've come well off, and we're not expecting those to come back the way they were.
Joe, the opposition has been left a little red-faced on the issue. Tony Abbott said the decision was due to the mining and carbon taxes. Weren't even mentioned by Marius Klopper when he announced the results. He then admitted he hadn't read the statement from BHP, only to backtrack on this later. Not a good look for the leader of the party, which sort of shows he's not across the detail.
Well, no, he is across the detail. We've had numerous interactions with BHP and other mining companies. Let's get real about this. Let's get fair income about this. You do not increase investment by increasing taxes on business. You are not going to create jobs, you are not going to create investment if you have carbon and mining taxes on the mining industry. And in fact, BHP's Port Hedland expansion, which they have put off, and is about $20 billion, is all iron ore, which is part of the mining tax, which is what he was
but Olympic Dam is uranium and copper, which has got nothing to do with the mining tax.
No, but BHP is paying the mining tax. It is paying a huge amount of the mining tax. And that's the bottom line, Koshy. Jack Nasser and Marius Kloppers have been warning for months that specifically the carbon tax, the mining tax, industrial relations and a range of other things are making Australia one of the most expensive places in the world to do business. And of course others have joined them. So this idea that somehow you're going to increase investment by increasing taxes is damn absurd. And that's what Wayne Swan was saying yesterday. It's absurd.
Joe, what's absurd, Joe, is continuing to constantly exaggerate the argument. Now, BHP themselves have said the Olympic Dam decision had nothing to do with mining and carbon. Tony Abbott just ignores what the company says and says, oh no, it must be true, without even reading the documentation. You've got to at least acknowledge the exaggeration there.
Well, firstly, no. Tony Abbott actually did read the statement. I know he read the statement.
He said on television
he misheard. If I can just finish, he misheard what the interviewer said. I know he read the statement because I was with him as he read the statement. So somehow anyone who suggests he didn't, it's just another exaggeration.
He suggested it. So it's a fair thing to think how he did it. If he says, I did not read the statement, you tend to believe him. Hey, look, let's move on. The Prime Minister spent 40 minutes yesterday trying to set the record straight about her time as a lawyer at Slater and Gordon and allegations of wrongdoing. She also took a swipe at what she regards as sexist treatment.
For many, many months now, I've been the subject of a very sexist smear campaign from people for whom I have no respect. These are defamatory allegations and they are wrong.
Tony, do you agree that's what motivated the story?
Yeah, most of the viewers won't have seen the material that the Prime Minister's talking about there. Most of this hasn't run in the general media, thank heavens. But online, I've got to say, there has been a campaign run by a few people online that I don't think there's a word other than disgusting for the way some of that's run. And the PM has been very careful ever since she came into politics. She's not someone to jump at saying there's something sexist going on. But on this particular online campaign, I don't think it's something that anyone, whether they're in high office or any Australian at all, should be subject to this one.
Joe, the opposition has been on at the PM to address this issue. She's now done that. Most of the newspapers and the editorials are satisfied with it. Are you satisfied?
Well, Kochie, it's not something we've been involved with, I must say. This has been coming from a range of different sources. The Coalition hasn't engaged in this. It's been more about what happened to the Prime Minister as a lawyer and what she did as a lawyer, and clearly, you know, she wasn't very good at what she did because she's got herself in a hell of a lot of trouble as a lawyer. Our issue is with her as a Prime Minister and her trustworthiness as a Prime Minister, and that's where we're leaving it.
Okay, that was a good knife in the back, though. Well,
thank you, Joe.
Good subtle one.
Thank you, Tony. Have a good weekend.
Good to
see you
see
next
you.
week.
Bye.
Here's Nat.